Raw consciousness does not require a savior, but rather, raw consciousness requires only knowledge of oneself and the power to access it. Remember this, as we unlock an even greater gnosis from beyond the veil.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation, around the world. I'm Chris Gio. I'll be taking you beyond the veil this evening. I am not joined by my lovely wife and co-pilot, Mrs. Gio. She is currently recovering from a car accident. Oh no, my camera looks all funky. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Oh, I should have checked this camera leading into this broadcast. It feels like it's jittery. Is it looking weird out there to you, ladies and gentlemen? If it is, please let me know. If not, I may be freaking out about nothing. Let me see if I can fix this. All right. There we go. Awesome. All right. So she's currently recovering from a car accident and will probably be for the foreseeable future. But I do have to say, firing up the show is so much easier when I'm by myself. So I'm looking forward to getting into it today with everybody here. Topic of the show today is going to be Sekhmet healing temples. Also, I wanted to talk about Randonautica. Randonautica is something that some of you guys and gals have brought to my attention. I have been like knee deep into this game. So Ross said he's going to need about, 20, 30 minutes. So I figure this first 20, 30 minutes, let's talk a little bit about Randonautica. Let me pull it up on my screen here. Randonautica. Here, let me see if I can actually pull it up like this. Is that the right? There we go. All right. Awesome. So, Randonautica. The Randonautica app puts the user in the director's chair of an adventure story yet to be written. By using the app, the user can break from their mundane day-to-day life and take a journey of randomness into the world around them. Your mind is your guide as you observe the world and view the world differently. Traveling into the unknown is a journey like no other. Breaking out of your... this camera looks all funky too. You know what? I'm so sorry. I forgot to set my cameras up properly. I was so eager to get on the show that I forgot to make these little adjustments that make the world of difference. So there we go. I'm glad I caught that at the beginning of the show though. So, break out of your reality tunnel, recalibrate your mind, and have fun on an adventure into the world you never knew existed. Welcome to the future, Randonaut. So the Randonautica application is pretty interesting. They say that it connects to a quantum computer, and I've been watching some really interesting Randonautica TikTok videos, and it's basically like you put your intention into whatever it is that you're trying to find. So you push your intention into this supercomputer, and you don't even have to say anything. People were saying that it all is picked up by like a microphone and things like that, but it's really not, because you put your intention mentally and it kind of picks it up. The creator of the app was saying that we're living in a virtual reality simulation, which is amazing because more and more of the younger kids are just coming into this matrix, just knowing that we are living inside of this computer simulation. And because so, they're able to, quote unquote, break the matrix. And a lot of these videos about the Randonautica app are showing people, quote unquote, supposedly breaking the matrix. But you'll set your intention. And the intention sometimes in some videos was death, for example. And it gave the user a set of coordinates, and then that user went to that set of coordinates, and there was an ambulance and somebody coming out on a stretcher out in the middle of nowhere, and they were dying on that stretcher. So they did another one. They put death in as their intention, and they wound up going and actually witnessing a murder taking place. There was another one. This one was really interesting right here because this one actually made the news. Let me see if I can find this on my screen here. Here, actually, I'll put it up on the screen too so everybody can see it. Randonautica app leads users to dead bodies, causes supernatural events, and creepy coincidences. The Randonautica app, which generates coordinates with quote-unquote high energy points within a set radius, is leading users to locations where strange, unexplained incidents have been taking place. So this particular Randonautica video here, I don't know what her intention was in the app, because all I saw was a small TikTok. Oh, there's a video here. I can actually play this.
Guys, we found a suitcase at the...
Gabby, go. I'll hold your stuff. I don't know.
Bro. Wait, open it.
Me and we were like, we're gonna find nothing.
Open it.
Able to sleep.
It stinks, y'all.
It washed off. It's
Oh! Oh! Okay, so she's calling the police so we can see if it's actually a dead body or it's just food.
What do I found a suitcase on the point in Alpha Beach. And
Yeah, here's the crime scene.
I have to admit, I freaking hate TikTok because it's just like so, it's so short and everything like that. And it's a spy mechanism. Trump is actually banning TikTok because it's a Chinese spy application, just like Pokemon Go was, and just like all these other things are. But this video was quite interesting because what they did is they put their intention into these coordinates, and it led them to the suitcase. Once they got there, they realized there was not one, but two dead bodies within those suitcases in Seattle, Washington. So Seattle, of course, is the epicenter of all of this Antifa situation going on. And I thought that that was pretty crazy. So when people brought it to my attention, I was like, oh, it's probably just another spy app like Pokemon Go or something like that. But it actually turned out not to be the case because we played it and we got some interesting results. Now, of course, most people who play something like this are going to put their first intention in there as find a bag of money. It just makes sense. You know, we were just screwing around, just playing around. It was like almost midnight. We were driving around and said, take us to a bag of money. Well, this is what we came across. This video is only 10 minutes. Yeah, I think I can play it almost in its entirety. But I'll try to skip through it here so we can bring Raw on here in a few moments. But check this out. This is our first Randonautica adventure. I knew nothing about the app. I just downloaded it, put my intentions in, said I want a bag of money.
Let's take one.
It's fucking creepy as
That
shit,
is
though.
creepy.
Hey everyone, Kristen, Cherie, Gio here. Can you film me?
Hey guys.
Hey guys, so we're playing this game. What is it called?
Randonautica.
Randonautica, that one of our listeners told us about on the show yesterday, and I watched some creepy YouTube videos about it. This is fucking creepy as shit. So as a test, as a joke, right? We just said, we want a bag of money. That's it, you know, that was our intention that we set for this Randonautica app. So it gave us GPS coordinates and it led us over here. We already drove by it, and I'm going to drive by it again. I don't think I want to touch it though. And I'll tell you why I don't want to touch it here as soon as we get to it. But I wanted to show you guys and gals because this is fucking creepy as shit.
It really is, you guys. The hairs on my arms are standing up.
I have a feeling like we should not touch it.
No, it's got bad energy attached to it. Look at these bags, guys. The black one especially. Look at this. We come to these GPS coordinates, and this is sitting right here. Somebody's clothes. So where is the person who these clothes in this bag belongs to? It looks like a woman's bag, too. I don't know if it's homeless people. I don't know where they are. I don't know why they've left these here. Especially open like
you got to
this.
understand, coming up to a bag.
They could have very easily
on the GPS GPS coordinates of this app was freaking creepy because I didn't believe it at first.
Oh my God!
But here we are.
Serious, Chris?
I got to do my thing, you know. There's no way I can't go all the way there and not look in the bag. I wasn't going to take anything, but I couldn't go all the way there and not look in the bag.
Oh my God, guys! All right, what's in the bags?
It's just random shit.
Oh, it's just random
It's
stuff?
the weirdest random shit. It's
Okay, like what kind of random shit?
Okay, there's like a light, like a living room light.
A what?
All right,
Like
I,
a living room.
I wasn't describing it well. I describe it a little better towards the end, so I'm going to skip forward a little bit because there's some other creepier shit that we came across because we noticed this to be a recurring theme as well while we were watching other Randonautica videos too.
Now, like, okay, are we going to get ambushed? I mean, really?
I mean, we're the devil, and the devil will give you, you know, whatever you want. Here,
Me
I'll
too.
just start from here.
That was the point at which I started to shit bricks because I'm like, I was expecting there to be nothing here, but it's creepy. It's weird.
In a vortex.
Yeah,
It's weird. This app has this weird energy to it.
yeah, it really does.
And it's like, we were joking, and like, you know those movies where like you make a deal with the devil, and the devil will give you, you know, whatever you want, but there's always like this catch to it. So I was joking with Shuri. I was like, we're gonna get there, and there's gonna be, you know, an murderer with a bag full of money. So, you know, weird shit like that. Look, is this a dead end? This is a dead end.
It is a dead end. Damn
What
it.
the fuck is this?
What the hell? Okay, so... Oh, no, it's not a dead end.
So this
That
road
is
was
dead.
blocked off with fucking
Well, how the hell...
rocks.
Bizarre.
Why
What
would
the
you
hell
put
is up
this
with that?
here? Why would you want to prevent people from getting out?
Oh man, I'm getting.
I'm looking around now, like, okay, are we gonna get ambushed? I mean, really?
I mean, we're close to the freeway. We're close to civilization. We're
Yeah,
not,
but a lot of dead bodies are found by the freeway.
that's true. Okay, here it is.
I mean,
Oh shit! There's a creepy ass cross.
ooh. Where?
It's right there.
Oh my god. What the fuck is this, you guys? What the hell?
All right.
What world are we in?
I don't know.
What timeline
Well, okay,
are we in?
so the last one.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the last one
Oh
here
shit!
for a
Okay,
second.
so the last one we did, we said we want a portal. So it took us to this place.
It was just weird.
And there was this
bizarre.
weird energy to it. And then now we fucking are like in the fucking twilight. Whoa, what the fuck is this?
More weird shit on the side of the fucking... What does that say, you guys?
20 EQKWVER in quotation marks.
Be cool,
ECUEL in quotation marks.
Queever? I have no idea what this
Okay,
says.
so I'm going to try to keep this segment short because we're going to bring Raw on here in just a few moments. But that was actually, I forgot, that was actually our second adventure. And what I found in the bag, I guess we didn't get to the part or skipped over the part or whatever, of what was inside of the bag, it just looked like just random stuff. Okay, so there was like a pink bag and it had women's clothes in it and it had a pink brush. In the black bag, I described it as like a lamp base or something like that. But when I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? It might have been like a one of those little hot plates. It was like a little device like this. It was circular and it had wires coming out of it. And it was something that you plug in. And I was just thinking, I used to have this lamp that had this little base like that. And then you plug the lamp part in and it makes like the whole lamp. And it looked like the bottom base of that. But in hindsight, thinking about it, I was like, no, it could have been like a hot pot or something like that, a hot plate. But I didn't want to touch it for sure because it would just creep me out. The fact that this had taken us to coordinates with a backpack. Gets even stranger than this, though. Gets even freaking stranger than this. All right, so we start realizing that a lot of this is tapped into the Tyler AI. And again, we're still waiting for Cherie to do this research, or she's done the research. We're just waiting for her to recover from her car accident so she can do the show about the Tyler AI. But the premise essentially is that there's an AI here, and it's a quantum computer. It's been linked up and sold off to many, many different corporations. Now, obviously, the entire thing isn't linked up and sold off to corporations. corporations, but small bits and pieces of it are to create these algorithms for Google and all this other stuff. Eratus is another weird algorithm that I want to talk about at a later time in the show. But the AIs have kind of hooked up. So now the Tyler AI is aware of what the Sophia AI has, and basically can see the entire matrix. And that's why it can also tap into your intentions. The creator of the app says that you manifest the intentions when you get there. We did one where we said, show us something funny and cute, and take us somewhere fun to see something funny and cute. So we drive out. It takes us to the back of these apartments, and it wasn't the apartments, but it was the road right behind the apartments. And as soon as we pull up, this little bunny comes hopping by, little, long ears and fluffy tail and all that. And there we go. You got something funny and cute. We said, show us something sexy and fun. And it led us to somebody's driveway that had a freaking Corvette in the driveway. And it's like, here you go. Here's something sexy and fun. I have some more on my phone. I didn't post them on Facebook. We said, take us to something unique and unusual. And it takes us directly to this old military vehicle. It was parked in the back of an apartment complex, but it's this old military vehicle from like the 1970s or 1980s. And there were two of them sitting next to each other. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Took pictures of that. So then we started realizing we were tapping into the Tyler AI. When we realized we were tapping into the Tyler AI, we started asking it, show us what you want us to see. This is when things got really interesting. So I'm going to start with a series of photos first. And all of these intentions, these were different locations. These were different Randonautica destinations. Show us what you want us to see. All right, so first one takes us to here. And this car comes by with this weird license plate. I have no idea what this means. XXXMMX. If you guys and gals out there have any idea what that means, please let me know in the comments below. Second one. It took us, and these next three pictures are all the same site. Took us to this site here that contained this backpack. Took us to the same site, had all these shoes here, these weird shoes. Another site, same site, women's clothes on the ground. We're like, what the heck is going on here? What is this that we're looking at? So we've got a couple of videos here. All right. So I'm playing it by myself now. This is the next morning. The next morning I come across here. I come across here too. I say, take me where you want. Take me to see something that you want me to see. So this is one site. What I'm about to show you is a second site. A second site here. Hey everyone, Chris Gio coming to you from Beyond the Veil. A quick little video. I've been playing this Randonautica. And I posted about a location about 3 or 4 miles away from here where I saw all these random shoes. So I do another Randonautica, and it brings me to this location here. Again, more shoes. That's not the only one though. I've taken pictures of these already. But look at this shit. At the last one, there was like women's clothes and shoes just out in the middle of nowhere like this. Again here, shoes. Random fucking shoes. This is the creepiest right here, though. That looks like a girl's. Okay, let me just jump in for just a moment here, because I didn't even realize this, and this is gonna really pop out at the next site too. Look at these markings here on the ground. I'm gonna go back a little bit. You can see them. You see these markings? Random fucking USA. You remember that Tom Hanks was posting all these pictures, and it was like a missing shoe next to like USA, SRC, things like that. Okay, I didn't even notice this while I was there. I noticed it in hindsight watching the video. But check this out. Shoes. This is the creepiest right here, though. That looks like a girl's headset. Fucking random shoes. And we're here at this, or I'm here. I should probably go get the twin. Oh, shoes. This fucking app keeps taking me to these shoes. You know, it makes me think of Tom Hanks. Look at this. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Do you see what that is? Those are baby's fucking socks. Oh, shit. Fucking shoes. Yeah, I'm not going any deeper in there. But, it's making me think of that Tom Hanks. You know how Tom Hanks keep posting random fucking shoes and shit on Instagram? Why is this Randonautica app taking me to all these fucking random shoes, and especially that creepy ass shit right there with the baby socks? There's some more shit over here. Socks, shirt that looks like a, God, I don't even want to touch this stuff. A woman's shirt. I don't know. I really need to get some fucking gloves. Dude, everybody was saying what's in the box, and I didn't want to touch too much there. And in hindsight, I wish I would have. Even Cherie was watching this live, because this was a live stream, and she's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? I just thought in the box it was just something that was holding the gate open. I didn't look in the box. I should have looked in the box in hindsight. Socks. Okay, so check this out. More kids' socks. That is a kid's sock. That is a kid's sock. What in the fuck? It's right next to a solar power plant. Look. A Lego. Out in the middle of a fucking bayou. A fucking Lego. So yeah, man, that's creepy, all right? So that's site number 2. Site number 2, show us something interesting. And I think I actually, oh, okay, all right. Here's site number 3. Site number 3, we say, hey, take us to show us what you want to show us. Site number 3, this was about 4 miles away from the other sites. Hey guys, another quick little video. We're at a 4th location now, completely away from the previous location, and more markings on the ground. I assume these are from pipes or something.
Yeah.
But it's the same USA marking as the USA RPW, and got another pair of shoes there.
Yep.
So there's something going on here. Excuse me.
Going on. It's just, what is the question?
Okay, people are asking in the chat, where is this? This is at a school. This is at a fucking school. Oh, and I found out this site right here was only like a quarter of a mile away from the first site where we found the backpack. Like, this is one end of the complex where we found the backpack. If you go all the way back this way, you'll get to the place where we found the backpack. So this is all, it was taking us to the same location and showing us these shoes, these fucking missing shoes. This place is called Slam Charter School. I know you probably can't see it very well there, but it's Slam. And look, that's just kind of creepy the way that it's written out there. Slam. But when I saw this here, I was like, what in the fuck? There is something going on here. What do you guys and gals think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat what you think about this creepy ass shit. So I think I got it posted in the comments of this video here, because we set another intention, and we were like, oh, here we go. Somebody posted the Tom Hanks thing. There you go. That's the Tom Hanks photo. SRC USA. I think these are markings for pipes, though. SRC USA is a company, a piping company, that they do like all the underground pipes and things like that. I know it's been tied into this whole Wayfair conspiracy. I don't buy into the Wayfair conspiracy because I understand how deep the pizza-related stuff goes, and there's no way that they would be selling stuff on Wayfair. It just does not make any sense when you put it in comparison to all the data that we've accumulated about this network. But that's, I mean, right there. Look at this missing this glove here with this. Exact same thing going on in the video. So we tell it, take us somewhere cute and funny again. And it takes us to this location. And as soon as we get there, there's like a water pipe that had busted. And there were all these different birds. And they were playing in the water. There were like all kinds of different birds. There were little bitty birds. There were large pigeons. There were all these little birds. And they were just bathing and just having a good time. Right across the street from that location, we turn and we see this set of shoes here. Now, this was inside of a residential neighborhood. This is probably shoes that belongs to the person that lives there. That's the way that it looked like. But it was just, again, strange that we tell it, take us to shoes, and boom, we've got shoes there. I wonder if I have my phone here, because if I do, I might be able to show you some pictures, but I don't have my phone. We finally got the balls to say, take us to death. Take us to death. And Cherie has this documented on her phone, but it took us to this dumpster. And in this dumpster, there was this oil bin, this oil barrel, and this oil barrel freaking reeked. And it looked like it had been there a long time. It looked like it was rusted. It was worn out by the elements, and it had a lock on it. And it was sitting behind in the dumpster area. And we suspected that there were bodies in there. We told it to take us to a portal. So it takes us to this round, it's like, it took us to this park, and there was this like round space in the park, exactly where the coordinates were. And there was a stick, like a random stick, sitting on one of the benches. And Cherie starts going around and like doing like zodiac stuff with the stick. It was just so weird, you know? And we found all these numbers and all these markings of these numbers and everything like that. And I see my camera's doing some funky stuff here. Let me see if I can fix this really quick as I'm talking. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So to keep it short and brief, my view on this particular app here is that we're tapping into the AI, but it's not something that's positive. It's a negative frequency. So if you're going to play this game, put your shields on. It's like playing with a freaking Ouija board, but in a digital realm. I kept smelling dumpster smells. Every time I play this game, I get this dumpster smell in my nose, and I'm like, "What is that? Is that coming from my shoes? Did I step in something dumpstery? You know, it's almost like a rigor mortis dumpster type of smell, and it's a phantom smell that I was experiencing myself. Cherie was somewhat experiencing it too, but it's weird because you know we did several of these, and there were some of them where we just weren't getting anything at all. We'd get to the location and there'd be nothing. And this is usually in the middle of the day. It's almost as if like the traffic lines are like congested during the day, so it wasn't working as well as it did at night. At night, oh, I forgot to tell you about this part too. So what was happening is we were asking it, you know, different things, and it was taking us to these different places in the middle of the night. And it took us to this one place. It's what did we say? I think we said, take us somewhere that is important for our journey. And it took us to this IT company that's inside of this complex. This IT company, we're like, what the fuck? That's so strange. We get there, and it's 12 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, and we're out in the suburbs in Las Vegas. So it's not like people are partying. It's not a heavily trafficked area. As a matter of fact, there was nobody out there at all. There's this weird guy sitting in the parking lot playing on his phone. You know, all he's doing is just sitting in the parking lot playing on his phone. He's the only car there. So we're driving around this IT company, and we're like, you know, theorizing and postulating to ourselves like, hey, maybe this has meaning in the other realm. Maybe in another dimension there's something going on here. Maybe this is where our bodies are actually housed within, you know, and we entered the matrix through here, but it's bringing us here to this IT company for some reason. Of course, we can't substantiate any of our postulations or hypotheses. We were just, you know, talking amongst us. But then I go to the other side of the parking lot, and this is a huge complex. There's another guy sitting there playing on his phone. And I'm like, that's very strange. So we go to another place, and we say, our intention was, show us something unexplainable. So 1 o'clock in the morning, I think it was Saturday night, Sunday night, something like that. It takes us to this elementary school that's off in the middle of nowhere. We get to the elementary school and it's telling us that the coordinates we need to go to are beyond this fence. And there was no way for us to actually get to the coordinates, but we were sitting there, hoping to see something, but we couldn't actually walk out into the areas where it was telling us to go. But again, we get there 1 o'clock in the morning and we go through, and in the back of the school, there's another guy sitting in his car playing on his phone. And we're like, what the hell is this? And watching all these other Randonautica videos and things like that, we're watching that other people are experiencing these weird anomalies. So one, for example, she sees this guy walking a dog coming up to her car, and there's another truck parked on the other side. So you can clearly see this with her camera, that she's filming with, and she puts her car in reverse. And the backup cam comes on, and the guy and the truck are not visible in the backup cam. And I was like, oh my God, that is freaking creepy. I mean, of course, that could be faked. I'm not saying that it's real, but it was just creepy. But another one went out to a location, and all these people just came out of nowhere and started attacking their cars, like literally like pounding on the cars and things like that. So I'm playing this with a friend of mine, and I didn't have very much time to play to hang out with her. But I was hanging out with her just for a brief period of time. We go to a location, we find what we're looking for, which was again something cute and funny. So we find what we're looking for, and then there's a guy who's following us through this alley where it's telling us to go. And she's looking back and she's like, oh my God, there's some weird guy following us. And I'm like, yeah, I know. This happens sometimes when you play this game. And then she turns around and she's like, he disappeared. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's what happens. So I think what these people are is either A, they're in another dimension, and the dimensions are kind of merging at these points. And because the intention is to merge the dimensions, we're able to tap into what's already there. However, in some cases, like in our cases, like the people on the phones weren't aware of us. It was so strange. Like they're just sitting there just playing on their phones, just sitting in their car playing on their phones. We drove by. They didn't even look up to look at us. They're just completely in our phones. As a matter of fact, the first one, I drove up next to him and I made a U-turn with my lights blaring right into his car so I can get a good look at who he was. He didn't even turn to look at us. It was almost like he didn't see us at all, and he's just sitting in his car just playing on his phone. So it's weird. What I started to speculate is that these people are either interdimensional, and in some cases they can see us, in other cases they can't see us, or they are kind of like interdimensional guards, for lack of a better term, and they're kind of like holding the space between dimensions, and they exist between those dimensions. It's a crazy app. It's freaking phenomenal. I love playing it. But again, it's a dark energy, and I think what's happening is this artificial intelligence is using everybody that's playing it to create a neural network. And there's much more that I want to elaborate on as far as that goes, but I thought it would be cool to talk about that briefly. We're going to bring Raw Castaldo on here in just a few moments, so he's itching to get on. He's been messaging me like crazy the whole time. So let me play a quick break, and we will bring Raw Castaldo on here in just a few minutes.
My dear traveler, the purpose of raw consciousness is never to destroy. It is always to create. Build bridges. Create happiness. And bring forth new life. We must live in the hope that mankind will draw together. And that we better understand each other. The more that we awaken, the easier this will become. Now rise. Follow your conductors, and fear no danger, as you step beyond the veil.
right. I want to get into the Sekhmet energy that has been unleashed upon the Matrix. We had a really, really interesting encounter with Sekhmet in Egypt in May of 2018. We went into her temple and did a whole meditation on live stream with one of the statues and so on and so forth. I don't want to be redundant, but there's a lot of Sekhmet energy right now in the Matrix. Sekhmet represents, in my opinion, the protection, the power, there's so much more. Ra Castaldo is joining us, and Ra is a host over on TFRlive.com, TFRlive.com. Of course, a mystical spiral and much, much more. He needs no introduction on this show. He's one of our long time brothers here at Beyond the Veil. So, Ra, how are you doing, sir? Actually, hold on. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah. No, I had you muted. My bad.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How have you been? It's been a while, and I'm glad that we're able to connect. But what's going on in the world of Ra?
I'm glad to be back and be able to share some time with you, because in this world, who knows what can happen the next day? It could everything could be shut down or whatever. So like every time I think people get together and do shows like this, it's like a very special moment in time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you never know how much time you have left. If you don't mind me diverting for just a moment, I want to share something with the audience here. I don't know if I was sharing this with you off air, but I was in a car accident just recently. They had to do an MRI on my spine. They found what appears to be stage 4 cancer or leukemia. And for a couple days, I was like, oh shit, I need to put the pedal to the metal and get my work done. I need to get this book out. I need to get this documentary, etc., etc. But then they did blood work. It comes back. The white blood cells are so perfect. They were like literally on the point. And so the doctors are like, I don't know, we still want you to go to an oncologist. However, you are healthy as can be. And it's amazing to see this. But I had a little bit of a scare there for just a little bit that my time was much more limited than I had thought. So it just goes to show you really have to kiss the one you love right now, because you never know when the last time is going to be. And if there's anything you've been wanting to do, you've got to do it now. So I promise this, Ra, I'm not going to let as much time pass as has passed in the past of having you on, because I want to appreciate every moment with you right here, brother. So take us away, please.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said, man. And I identify with what you went through and what you're going through in on so many levels. I mean, I lost my mom to stage 4 cancer in 2011, and it was like a 5-year process. She was 5 years before that, she was with stage 4 breast cancer, and she went through 5 years of, it changes the whole family. And I understand what you're going through. So wait, before we go deeper into it, I just want to ask you, so you just got blood work and they saw it, or they did like an MRI and they thought they saw the tumors?
Yeah, they did an MRI for the car accident, and then they found red marrow, which is indicative of stage 4 or leukemia, is what it said on the thing. What it actually said is we cannot rule out stage 4 cancer, which they used a term that starts with an M, meta something disease. I don't remember what it is, or leukemia. And Cherie looked at it and she started freaking bawling. And I was like, I told you I'm going home. I've been called. They've been telling me it's time for me to go home. I got to get my shit done now. And but then they did the whole blood panel, and literally everything in my blood work was like perfect. And you would imagine, looking at me with all this extra weight, I'd have diabetes, I've had some kind of shit. Everything was like, it was so perfect that she came out and she's like, were you talking to the Ukrainian president here? Because this is so perfect. I mistaken it for a transcript with a call from with the Ukrainian president. Old joke, probably 8 months too late. But my point, it was the blood work was so perfect. Trump's call was so perfect. Anyways. So yeah, no, they looked at it. They said it was great, but there was a little bit of a scare there, to say the least. My mother passed away at 57 from cancer as well, so I know exactly what you're experiencing, and I know how you have that one element that holds the family together, and once that's gone, then the whole family falls apart. That's what happened with us as well. So it is what it is. But it was funny because the feelings that I had it wasn't a feeling of being scared, because I know exactly what's happening. I'm being recalled. It's time to go home. But it was the feelings of, oh shit, what if I don't have enough time to finish what I came here to do?
Yeah. No, I identify with that. I mean, I guess you could say I had two near-death experiences. One when I was born, in fact. I don't know if we ever talked about it with you on the show, but when I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and I was still in the caul, which is the amniotic sac. And it's like when you're sort of in the womb, you're in this pod, this sac around you, and it's like a membrane, and that it's deep on so many levels, because 1 in 100,000 babies I think are born that way, maybe, or something like that, they say. But when I came out, I was still in that pod, and I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, so they had to cut the pod open and like tear it off my face and everything, and I cut the umbilical cord off from my neck. I was like purple, and I was about to die. Like, so there was a possible like a DMT release or something right at my moment of birth, because they even say in ancient Italian mysticism, and my grandmother, she knew it as a kid, and my great grandmother even said it to me, that they call people that are born in the caul, which is interesting because I think it all comes together. Me being a part of, the family at TFR and Beyond the Veil, is that babies that are born in the caul or the amniotic sac, they call them that they're born behind the veil, or they're born like a caul bearer. And there's actually like a name for it. And in mysticism all over the world, they're supposed to be born with second sight, or like a higher dimensional connection. And it's not just esoteric. I think there's something truly like scientific about it, the more I thought about it throughout my life, because you would think about it, the soul, when the baby forms in the womb, the soul has to be anchored to the baby from above, right? Your soul's not actually in your body. It's communicating with you from above your biosystem, like it's anchored to you. So it's sort of like a layer around your biosystem. So for the baby, sort of like for the soul to be downloaded sort of into the baby, it has to pass through this glowing membrane, through that caul. And I think it gets imprinted on that. And then when the baby's pushed out, it's sort of, all the water is depleted, so it gets wrapped around the baby, and that imprint, I think, gets embedded within the skin, within the everything of the baby, of the head and face, and they sort of retain a higher dimensional connection. And they have a lot of different like spiritual encounters and ghosts and spirits and all these types of things when they're young. And depending on the decisions that they make throughout those times, I think it could either snowball one way or another way. But I even belong to certain groups. Even on Facebook, we have a group of people that are born in the caul, because it's sort of like a very similar experiences and a lifetime, people born that way. So I do think it's scientific. It's not a myth. I mean, they would save the cauls, and in my Italian mysticism background, they talk about how on the ember days of the years, like the solstice or the equinox, or specific days of the year, that will fall into a deep sleep, and this is when the caul bearers' souls travel into the higher dimensional realms and sort of like fight to cleanse the collective consciousness of humanity in a way. And some people are drawn and polarized to the dark ways, and they sort of like astral travel and vampiric drain energy of people in their dream time. So there's like two sides of the coin. We call it the benindante and the malandante in my Italian heritage. But it's either the dark or the light, whatever you want to call it in whatever. But and then in 1987, I was 10 years old, and I had my other near-death experience, and I was 9 turning 10 in 1987. I was 9 years old turning 10, and in August, September 1987, when I had my near-death experience, there was a powerful change on our planet. And all of you out there that are born in 1987 or experienced something, a big change in 1987, you might be possible. You're an ancient incarnated being. There was a massive download of these light beings that came into bodies once again in that time. And I completely changed in 1987. After my near-death experience, I was a completely different person. It was like a higher dimensional me, or another soul almost just walked in and stepped in. I still was my same personality, but the way I approached everything was different. Even the way I talked to girls, the way I handled my parents, the way I knew music, my abilities, all of this, it was different. And even the Mayans, they talk about how a big transition came in August of 1987. I didn't know this at the time, but and then there was a 5-year transition between 1987 and 1992 is when massive souls came down into this realm. And I think there was like a 30-year process. And then in August 2017, when we first met, during that massive solar eclipse, there was another massive change and event that was coming. And I think there's another 5-year period probably between 2017 and 2022 where we're going to go through all these changes, and then like a whole new world is going to arise. And, I've been getting premonitions like this most of my life, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it tonight. I don't know if you want to jump in anywhere, but I know I'm talking a lot, but I wanted to just...
No, that's awesome. I did want to say, man, it's kind of strange to hear you talk about these dates, because looking at you, you look like you're 25. And I didn't even realize we were the same age for like a long time. So whatever you're doing, dude, freaking keep it up, man. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, my teeth are 42 for sure.
I think we got to keep our vibe young. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I just and I went through a lot. When I was a teenager, I went through like problems. I had overcame like drug problems as a kid, and in my teenagers, in my early 20s, and I went actually to change my whole life. I ended up going into Muay Thai and kickboxing. I did a Muay Thai camp. I did a couple of professional fights in Muay Thai in early 2000, late 99. And then I went out to California. I was like playing as a street musician on the streets out there, and I changed my whole life. I had all these experiences, and I went through all these spiritual journeys, and I think they're sort of anchored to my mission. I mean, growing up, the certain UFO experiences I had, the certain otherworldly experiences I've had, other dimensional experiences I've had, my near-death experiences, my creative ability, everything I realized was sort of like intimately entwined with my mission here. And all of our missions is sort of like, what everything you're going through is sort of like intimately entwined. And I'm just starting to get some answers now, in my 40s, about what I'm really supposed to be doing on this planet.
You know what's funny though? The 20-year-old kids I'm talking to now, they like already know. It's like I'm like a little bit jealous of them, because they have realizations that took us decades to get to, and here they come in 20 years old, and I'm like, man, I want to be 20 years old and know what I know now.
Yeah, but there's something to having that experience though, and going through things, and it's sort of like a battle. You're a battle tested warrior, because I went through many things, even being on the street, and for many years going through things. I mean, I went through the period like you. In the 90s in New York, there was like a big scene too, where I was at this club called the Limelight, and it was like a church that was made into a Gothic church that was made into like a drug-infested rave, crazy place. It's hard to even put a finger on it, but there was like a lot of like people that were dressing androgynous and doing drugs, and there was all these different rooms, and it was very like it was a crazy vibe. And
the rave scene, man.
Yeah, but I
love the rave scene. I miss the vibe, man. It was awesome. Yeah. Wait, are you talking about like your experiences as a kid or a dream?
No.
No, these are real experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was a time in that club where there was like a dark energy in there too for a while, and I don't know if you ever heard about the story. They even made a movie out of it. Party Monster.
I've heard of that story, man, and you know, going through the rave scene, I never really thought of it because it was always peace, love, unity, and respect, and it wasn't in hindsight. And when I've never seen the movie because it disgusts me to think that some guy can murder somebody and then sit there and put him in a box and then do drugs on top of that fucking box and all that. Like for me, like when I go into another realm, it's a very energetic type of thing. The energy has to be clean, you know. I can't be around.
How closely I was related to that is the guy that he killed, Angel. I had bought acid from him like 3 days before he disappeared.
Shit.
Yeah. So like I knew those guys really well. I wasn't hanging out in their apartments with them, but I got stuff from them, and I was around them all the time. And when he got killed, I was a senior in high school. I was graduating high school that year, and I had already been coat checking for them and passing out flyers for them since I was 15. So I had already been around them for like 4 or 5 years at the time that he passed away, and we would have parties everywhere. They would go into like a McDonald's and just like buy 1,000 cheeseburgers and be throwing them out everybody and they would be set up a DJ booth in there until the cops came, and we did that on the subway. We did all these different parties like that out there. But yeah, there was they called them like the club kids. They even started going to Jerry Springer shows and all this stuff. They were traveling around. The one dude, Michael Alec, man, he's out now. I know, I've talked to him since he's been out through like Twitter like before, but
no, that was a fucked up scene, man. Like I didn't know anything about this during the rave scene. Then Emily Moyer comes into the picture and starts talking about all the mind control elements of the rave scene, and it makes total fucking sense. I mean, like, of course, you're there, you're on psychedelic drugs, you've got all of these lights and everything like that pounding you. They can implant whatever the fuck they want there, and a lot of these parties I'd go to, and I don't remember a fucking minute of it. Like I remember going and I remember leaving, and that's about it. Who knows what happened to us back then, but I know one thing for sure: it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm not gonna say I had some great times. Like my dad used to have to pull me out of there by my ear. My dad, like, there's a couple times where my family was looking for me, had to come find me from there. I was even too young to be in the club. I was going in there at a young age, in the early 90s, when I was just a freshman in high school in like 90 year, like around that. I was already trying to going in there and sneak into. They had all these different clubs that they had, like the Twilo, Roxy, the Palladium, all these different clubs that we went to. Even when we graduated my senior year in high school, as soon as the prom ended, that's where we went. It was part of the culture. It was part of everything. Plus, I was in a band, and we were playing in different spots around there as well. Dude, they used to have amazing bands play at the Limelight. I saw in 1992 Tool play in the Limelight, and I saw Korn play in there, and like right before they were famous, Deftones, all those bands before they were even famous, they were playing in the Limelight. And the guy who owned the club, Peter Gation, he got sent to Canada now. They extradited him to Canada, but he knew what was up, dude, and he had magic about him. Like whatever he touched just blew up. He had a certain magnetism about him. But there was something to him, dude. He liked to have these silent little parties with gay dudes and cocaine and hookers, and he would all of a sudden disappear from his wife for like 3 days and get like Michael Alec and all these guys in a hotel room, and who knows. So that's
crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's great. Dude, we had a place like that called the Vatican. It was an old church, and all these bands would pass through. I met Typo Negative there, Pantera, several others, because it was a small little club, so they would all pass through before they really got big. 311 was another one, and we were like looking at the flyer going, what is this, like 311, 331? We didn't know anything about 311 at the time, but I know what you mean, though. These small little clubs that all these bands go through. Oh, man, you're bringing back so many freaking memories.
It was a shame too. Before we move on, it was a shame too what happened to Angel, man, because Angel and his family were immigrants, right? And him and his brothers were kind of selling drugs to pay the rent for the family. And Angel was the gay brother, and he was only allowed to hang out with the rich white kids that were going to the Limelight because his family had the drugs and he brought the drugs. So they kind of were using him. And the cops kind of really didn't even do it. Like when he was missing, they were like, "Oh, a gay drug dealer's missing," whatever. But he was wild, but he was funny, man. He was a good dude. Yeah, I had a couple of good experiences with him, just laughing and having a good time. And he would wear these angel wings a lot out, and he had red ones, white ones, and he would wear this certain hat. And he was wild, man. He was like a Spanish dude, like a Puerto Rican, or I think Dominican, and he was like one of the first Dominican guys in the Bronx. He was coming from the Bronx into Manhattan, and he was like had his eyes pierced over here in like the late 80s, early 90s, or whatever it was when he first got it. Like, and he was like a very individualistic type of. He looked like almost like a skateboarder street kid. But he was the only like really street kid out of all those quote unquote club kids, like Richie Rich and James St. James and all these stupid guys that they have all these names. They were a lot of them were like trust fund kids and like spoiled rich kids. A lot of them came even from the middle. Michael Alec was from somewhere from like the middle of the country, from Iowa or somewhere. I don't know where he was from. But a lot of them were rich white kids, and he was only allowed to hang out with them because he had the drugs, and he was like a street kid. And they owed him a lot of money, dude. They owed him like thousands and thousands of dollars, like maybe up to 40 grand or something like that in dope. Like they were heroin addicts, among other things. And Angel at the time was roommates and staying over Michael Allen's apartment. Michael was kind of like burning all his bridges around town in a way, and he had a couple of drug dealers living with him so he could pay the rent, and Angel was one of them, and he didn't want to pay the money, and him and the dude Freeze literally killed this dude because they didn't want to pay him, and they friggin' hit him with the hammer, and they poured Drano in his mouth and actually tried to they taped his head closed and stuffed his mouth with Drano after they bashed him with a hammer a whole bunch of times. And then they threw him in the bathtub and made sure he was dead. And, there was rumors that they might have had sex with him while he was dead, and they might have done this. They were doing drugs on him. But then they left him in there stinking for a while. And then when people started to ask some questions about the stink, and they couldn't say it was the septic tank no more, or whatever they were saying, because he had this high-rise apartment at the time, and he was saying it was the plumbing. And then the other dude Freeze was the drug dealer. He basically gave Michael like a bundle, like $100 worth of heroin. So if Michael would cut the body up, so Michael got really high and then went and hacked it with a hacksaw.
Dude, I don't mean to cut you off, but you're making my stomach turn a little bit. Too many details.
Dude, the idiots, listen, because the idiots threw it in the Hudson River and didn't like cut a hole in the cardboard so it didn't sink, and the shit floated to like Staten Island. And then this other dude, Michael, I forget his last name now. This other gay guy who used to write for the Village Voice. I forget his name, Michael Crespo. I forget his name, Italian guy, but he's a gay guy. He used to be a writer for the Village Voice, like a free flyer they would hang out. He described like the whole event, about the Drano, everything that he heard, right?
Damn.
And he wrote it in the Village Voice, and then the cops that found the box, they realized, oh shit, that like totally matches the body that we found, because they actually thought it was a Chinese immigrant. They didn't even think it was a Spanish guy from the Bronx. They didn't even know what they had. And that ad in the Village Voice is what actually got him caught. And yeah, dude, he's out. He only did like 17 years, I think, or something like that. 20 years. He's already out, already hanging out with like young boys and doing drugs again, man. He's a scab.
That's freaking crazy, man. It's stomach turning, because I can deal with this kind of stuff. I watch serial killer documentaries sometimes. I could deal with that. But when you mix the energies, at least the way that I remember the rave scene, which was peace, love, unity, respect, you mix the energies with that kind of darkness, it's becomes really stomach turning, because it's like syntax errors, because it's like you got positive and then you got this horrible fucking negative, which is where we find ourselves in this matrix right now, with this whole pizza related stuff going on and the underbelly of all these freaking trafficking networks that are going on.
It was something about the consecrated ground too of the place. I mean, dude, this thing it's a Gothic church, And that's what the Limelight was, the whole outside. And because it was a historic landmark, they couldn't change the outside, but the inside they were able to make a club out of, right? So this thing has underground tunnels, little caves underneath, and behind the coat checking, where monks would go and take their vows of silence. And
shit,
it's a weird place. And we would have all these different rooms. Like the ecstasy room was the resurrection room. We had the hip hop room, the drum and bass room, all these different rooms. And there was a lot of weird shit that was going on. And there was, and the guys that started going there, and the girls, they started dressing in these like demonic, androgynous, otherworldly outfits. And there was some sort of weird vibe that was like transforming people in that place, dude. It was intense. It was an intense time. And just being on ecstasy and acid so many times in that place, because that was like the main thing. And Special K, I saw a lot of weird things like in people's faces. You would just see like the demonic, like people's faces getting all like torted and contorted and stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, I've seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about. We used to take some Molly back in the day, and then it would look like people were like bruised up and cut up and torn up and all that. Yeah, it's so weird. In hindsight, it's probably the energy they were carrying inside of them. So
and people started actually wearing that as a costume, like drawing scars and drawing themselves all. That's how they were dressing. They were
hell, man. Everything got twisted, man. It just got so freaking twisted. But I mean, I guess that's the energy that we're dealing with here. So you're dealing with some freaking awesome energies, though. And you were. I saw a picture on my Facebook, and you were in this cave, and I was like, man, I got to talk to Rob about this cave.
It's a megalithic dolmen, not a cave. But there is chambers underneath the ground there, but you can't get to them though. But there's water chambers underneath the ground. It's built above a water chamber. Dude, this place is amazing. And it spoke to me telepathically. And it basically told itself it's the healing chambers of Sekhmet. And I believe this is over 10,000 years old, this site, especially.
That's freaking awesome. I was going to say real quick, if you can, because I got all these in Skype, but I've got you up on the screen in Skype. Can you send me these pictures one by one as you want me to put them on the screen in Facebook Messenger? That way I know which one we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or maybe even if you can share your screen. I don't know if you can do a screen share, but if you can do that, that'd be a good way to go about it.
I have StreamYard. Are you on StreamYard or no?
No, but I know on Skype you can share your screen if you click down at the bottom. Yeah, these pictures are freaking awesome, ladies and gentlemen. I was looking at it and going, man, that's a hardcore energetic site right there. If not, I can figure out another way to pull it up. Ah, there we go. Awesome. Cool. We can see your screen now.
Nice. So
we're in the vortex of the vortex of the vortex of the vortex.
So is my audio okay? Because I don't have my Yeti mic on. I have the camera mic.
Yeah. Your audio is good.
For TFR, I use my real mic.
Cool.
I didn't.
For TFR, you do, but for BTV, it's not necessary.
No, I didn't. I don't camera. Because for some reason, when I'm on the camera, I have to bend over to get really in the mic. It doesn't pick it up.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing.
So I never used the camera for TFR. If I had to use the camera for TFR, I would have to get one of those things like you, those stands.
The arms, yeah.
Yeah, the arms. I would need one of those shits. But yeah. So here, let me share screen.
Okay, yeah. So, show us some of these cool sites, man, because this is freaking awesome. I'm gonna put you on full screen here.
So, dude, the first time I actually saw this place was when I was like 12 or 13 years old, just driving by it. My dad used to have this small home heating oil company when we were kids, and he had like one or two trucks. And my older brother, was one of my dad's oil truck drivers, and some of his stops was right here, North Salem, New York. And we would drive past it, and I felt the thumping in my chest and the power of it as a kid. And I sort of put it out of my mind for a while. But after I had my near-death experiences, I started having my musical ability, my creative ability. And when I would play guitar, when I would play music, I sort of felt like this invisible force around me, like this invisible energy, almost like I would be playing in my room all alone, and it felt like I was on stage for a galactic council or something. And like, I can't mess up. I would even feel my my head overheating, like I was on like a galactic stage. And I felt this force around me, and I never could quite put my finger on what was actually around me. I never had any like visuals or even telepathically. I never saw anything like that. But then while I was playing, but then after 2002, after going through some experiences in California, in Long Beach, one day in physical reality, while I was playing guitar, I looked across the alleyway in the apartment building across from me in Long Beach, and I saw a feline-headed being with a human torso and a big head, a feline head. And it turned and looked right at me. I saw the dark silhouette because it was like a dark apartment. And the next day I went and checked that apartment. It was actually empty and for rent. It was nobody in it. So it like somehow beamed itself in there. And from that point on, I was getting telepathic visits in my dream time and other meditations from feline beings, sometimes white with blue eyes, sometimes golden, sometimes reddish, all different types of experiences. And it would be linked to my creative ability and the spiritual energy coming out of me. And I even had a UFO experience that I got on video in 2015, I think it was, of this blinking, reddish, glowing, pulsating orb. Almost like it's a Merkava of some sort of higher dimensional being, like a Merkava, like or something like that. And there was 7 of them at first, and then when I got outside with the camera, there was 1 left, and I don't know if it all went into one or the others went away, but I knew it was related to the feline energy. And from that point on, I was lured to go back to this rock in 2015, and since then, I've been making regular visits on certain key points of the year. Now, what you see here is in North Salem, New York, which is about 40 miles from New York City. It's in the suburbs.
Can I jump in for just one moment? Because I got to ask you this. This is not photoshopped, right? This is exactly the way that the rock looks. There haven't been any lines or anything drawn on it.
No. This is no. In the back of the rock, there's one part in the whole back that you can't see right now in this photo, where in the 1800s, somebody engraved their name and initials. You actually could see it if you really look hard. Somebody did an engraving with some sort of tools. But no, all these marks that you see is the red or pinkish rose granite that it's actually made out of. So it's an amazing a megalithic dolmen that's balancing on just smaller pieces of quartzite. You could see this. It's 60 to 90 tons of rose pinkish reddish granite, which is not from anywhere near that area. And it's at first geologists saying it's like a glacial erratic, like the ice age just plopped it on that. But now they actually write at the site that it's called the balanced rock, and it's a megalithic dolmen. But it's interesting. It's 11:11 p.m. here right now too. But so this spot is no way a glacial erratic, obviously, because it's on a magnetic anomaly, and it's been proven. Now, before we go, I actually had proof from...
That is a Sekhmet kitty, 100%.
Yeah, dude, we're going to get deeper into it, but there was a guy in the 1990s, early 1990s, John Burke. He unfortunately passed away in 2010, but the person that co-wrote his book with him, that he only included a little bit in his book about this specific megalithic dolmen, this balancing rock, because most people in the United States, a lot of people have the misconception that you have to fly to England or you got to fly to Europe to see a megalithic dolmen. But no, we have one right here outside New York City, and it's one of the most remarkable spots in the world. All right, this is a truly over 10,000 years old, and it really is a healing chamber. And I'm going to get more into why it is a healing chamber and how it's connected to the Sekhmet energy and why it's connected to the energy of right now. In fact, now the guy John Burke co-wrote this book with Kaj Hajberg. I got permission from her to use his test that he did, because he got people from Harvard, Dr. Bruce Cornett, who's from, I think, another school at the time in the early 90s, and they did really magnometer tests and high-level tests at this site. And what you see here is their map, and I got permission to use this from them on my website and my Patreon. So I'm going to share it with you guys here on TFR, because I really, a lot of people have not seen this. This was his experiment that he did in August of 1992, and you could see the negative magnetic anomaly that's minus 400, which is a big difference at the boulder, at the exact spot that the boulder is. So whoever placed this here over 10,000 years ago was an advanced ancient civilization that knew it was on a magnetic anomaly, and they put a giant red granite boulder and molded it or somehow made it to look like the feline sort of being. I mean, you guys can see it's wearing some sort of headdress to cover its elongated skull. It's got the feline ears, the serpentine eyes, the nose that looks like it's smushed in a little bit, the mouth. Now, for me, going here, my whole life I've been a collector of crystals, and I also have some for purchase on my website and my tensor tools. All the stuff that I've been working with is sort of intimately entwined with Sekhmet and the harmonic resonance and the sound healing that's associated with Sekhmet, because she's also the counterpart to Hathor. She's seen as the fierce side of Hathor, even seen as the goddess of war and plagues, but she's also the goddess of healing. And people would bring sick people to the sacred sound healing chambers of Sekhmet at their ancient temples. And they actually called this practice the Sekhem. And you could see here on my website, and this is exclusive information that many people don't know about, is the Sekhem is an ancient sacred healing system in ancient Egypt, and it's been recently rediscovered, and it's connected to Sekhmet Energy. And Sekhem literally means having spiritual technology or spiritual might or spiritual power. And there's a harmonic resonance healing system associated with the copper tensor tools that I make and the crystals, and also with Sekhmet's technology. And I throughout my life have come across certain crystal skulls that have come to me somehow, like I'm a protector of them. And people have gotten programming over skulls. When some people see a skull, they automatically think death and evil. But why is just the skull body part evil? Why not the rest of the body? It's because the programming. People fear their death, and they think of their own mortality when they see a human skull or something that looks like that. But crystal skulls are like silicon computers. They're very ancient, and even the ones that are carved nowadays sort of are still part of like a network of computers. And I put my crystal skull in the ritual bowl that's beneath this site, Chris. Check this out. So underneath this site, they have, let's go to my newer pictures that I just went here on 8/17 the other day. They have a ritual bowl in one of the rocks beneath this that's carved out, and you can see it right here. This is beneath that site, and I put my crystal skull and it exactly locked into place. It's an elongated crystal skull that's made of labradorite.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Dude, it was glowing. You could see the sheen in the front where the third eye is. It's glowing. It was literally glowing when it locked into place. And when it locked into place, I saw everything flashed white, and I saw these holographic light codes. And I was laying beneath this thing, and even got pictures of rainbow light tubes going out of the ground from right where this thing starts to the end of the chamber, this whole chamber that's there. And I was dowsing there, and that whole spot, I know there's underground water streams. It's even near water down the road. There's a huge pond down the road. So it's there's underground water chambers, and it's literally it's like a multi-dimensional anchor of energy that's on a specific spot on the ley line grid that's there as like a healing chamber. And people have experienced agriculture benefits from all the seed testing that this guy John Burke did. Any seeds that he charged in that ritual bowl that you see here, he put a whole bunch of seeds there, planting seeds, and there was electromagnetic enhanced growth on all the seeds, like extreme. You can even go to the guy's website that's still up, and he shows all his tests. But dude, it's the fact that it's even made out of red granite. I could even show you here. Sekhmet is known as the feline goddess who wears the red apparel. Here's a quote right from the Egyptian Book of the Dead that's from 1550 BC. Sekhmet, thou mistress of the gods, thou bearer of wings, thou lady of the red apparel, queen of the crowns of the south and the north. So the fact that it's made out of red granite, and she's the one that bears the red apparel. Now, for me laying underneath this, Now, I gave scientific proof that this is there's some sort of technology about this part. Now, here's the esoteric part, which I think is actually scientific evidence as well. But yeah, it's something that came to me telepathically. So people are going to say it's a woo woo, but something came to me that the red granite is actually some sort of organ, maybe even a heart or the fingers of some sort of giant creature that it was once a part of. And I think that right here, you're seeing some sort of living, breathing organ at one time, or a body part that was somehow hardened and molded to look like the creature it was once a part of, possibly a big feline creature. I mean, it's even wearing the pharaoh's headdress, and it looks like the shape of a heart. And if you look closely when you're there, you can see almost a wrapping around it, like triangular wrapping, like somebody took the heart out and wrapped it in some sort of material like gauze or something and hardened it in some way, and then molded it to look like, before it hardened, they molded the one side that's facing where you would see it to look like a feline goddess or Sekhmet or whatever, because this is the other side. The other side of it, you can see this almost looks like it's fingertips. This other side, it looks like a Venus flytrap type thing.
I'm seeing what looks like a serpent.
Yeah, you could say that as well, like a big snake, two snake heads, like one here and there, like together each other. Yeah, and it looks like it's balancing on fingers, like a hand is coming out of the ground, right? Yeah, so it could, but it came to me that it was literally once a living, breathing, a live body part that somehow, because red granite has no free metals in it and it's highly crystallized. It's really amazing. And I think that they siphoned all the metal out of it and somehow molded it when it was wet, like Play-Doh. And I got this buddy that I've been working with for the last few months. He's actually coming on TFR Saturday. How perfect is this? He's coming on Saturday night on our show here on TFR. His name is Roger Spur, and he has Mud Fossil University on YouTube. And he actually believes my theory. He said he can't say for sure whether it's a heart or if it's fingers or what, but it definitely once was a body part. And he breaks it down from a real scientific and physics way. He's a really smart guy, and he's making a lot of breakthroughs. And he's got a huge channel on YouTube called Mud Fossil University. His name's Roger Spur. And I've been working with him about light acceleration experiments and my copper twisting and everything about harmonic resonance. Because even with the sacred chambers here, like when you lay beneath this, there's some sort of healing chamber going on. When you're laying under, you feel like you're getting a CAT scan where you're laying underneath in this chamber. And I've laid underneath it for over a half an hour before, and you could feel it. You could feel it's almost like balancing the harmonious levels of your body on the harmonic resonance of your body. And I think that that's related to Sekhmet energy, Chris. I've gotten dream visions and telepathic visions of feline people coming down into this realm and letting out it looks like they're screaming, but you can't even hear it. It just, you see their mouth like they're screaming, but you can't hear it. And it's actually changing people on a cellular level and bringing the harmonic resonance to their light body and transitioning them to a higher 4D or 5D or whatever you want to call it.
Man, that is awesome. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to save this for the next segment. I want to take a quick break real quick. So on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into the visions, we'll get into the felines, and much, much more with Castaldo. I'm so excited. This is such a freaking awesome show. I do have to grab some coffee real quick, though, but I am going to leave you with this quick break right here. This one is a classic in my opinion, and if I'm not back by the time it's over with, there's another one coming up after this. So we'll be right back right here on Beyond the Veil with Castaldo.
My fellow travelers, always remember to walk uprightly and circumscribe your desires as we travel upon the level of time to that undiscovered state of consciousness, traveling to the place where once obtained, no traveler returns. The place of raw consciousness which awaits us when we have passed beyond the veil.
All right, we are going to get back into the Sekhmet Energy here in just a moment, as soon as Raw Castaldo gets back. He was showing off his crystal skull during the break, and I'm hoping that you'll put that back on the screen for everybody so people can check that out, because that's freaking awesome. All right, here we go. Yeah, we want to check out that crystal skull, but I do have to ask you first, though, Raw. I got to ask you, did you hear that last song?
Dude, that was great.
Can you repeat that?
No.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
That's amazing.
Person, woman. Dude, that was hilarious.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's check out that crystal skull.
So
he's got the Akhenaten background too. That is dope.
I'm gonna share it with you guys because first it's like an intimate thing, almost like to share these with people for me, because they're very special. And this skull, I'm not going to say the name of it out loud right now for everyone, but this first one is actually, I've come to find out, is actually a psychic guardian for my other skull. It's like it came into me, and it's basically about 6.5 inches of labradorite, and it's an elongated type alien almost looking skull. It was carved in Brazil. I think it was carved in the 1990s at some time. In the 1990s it was carved, and you could see it's really powerful because it has the labradorite sheen that seems to glow even more at certain moments over the third eye and over the back where the spinal cord would meet the cranium, the right there at the top. And that spot is known in ancient Hebrew as the Lutz bone, L-U-Z, Lutz bone. And the Lutz bone is like the key to the other higher dimensions. And it's also the bone that ancient rabbis would think that it retains an imprint of the soul, and this is where people can get resurrected from the dead from. It actually stays with the bones in the grave with the Lutz bone. And so that spot is actually, yeah.
That's interesting because I've always felt like I need to be cremated. I want none of my remains left here at all, period. And if that's the case, that might be why, not to bind the soul to that particular part of the bone. And we have the whole rituals now, the Egyptians too, the embalming rituals, of course, of the Egyptians. But now we embalm like every single body. And I'm like, why are we doing that? Aren't we binding the soul to the body and not allowing it to leave this plane?
Yeah, well, ancient Hebrew, and this goes back all the way to the knowledge of the giants, to Ugaritic tablets, very, very ancient, even ancient Syria, all those areas, they talk about the Lutz bone. It is that little, and it's shaped, they say, like a hazelnut. It actually means like a hazelnut or something, the actual definition of it. And it was actually the original name for the town of Bethlehem. That spot it's actually called the city of Lutz at first, and it's seen as like the spot of Jacob's ladder, like the spot to the higher dimension. And they believe that little bone at the top of the spine, where the spine meets the bottom of the brain there, or the cranium, whatever that is this little bone that when the body dies, that spot is the spot that retains the knowledge of the soul, and people can get resurrected from the dead at the end times, they believe, from that bone. So it's really intense. Really intense. There was certain rabbis like the Vilna Gaon. He was like the genius of Gaon, Lithuania, and he writes about it in his writings as well. There's a lot of interesting information with that. It's called Lutz, L-U-Z, which is like light as well. It means like light too as well. It could mean like light.
That's pretty cool. I got to ask you. People are asking in the chat. I don't know if you mentioned this, but what are those skulls made out of?
This one is made out of labradorite, and if you work with labradorite, it's sort of like meant for a higher dimensional connection. So I would recommend, if somebody was to work with labradorite, maybe keep like a piece of smoky quartz between their feet to keep them grounded to earth, something like that. So labradorite is a powerful higher dimensional psychic connection stone. You could see labradorite is one of the most beautiful because it gets that beautiful sheen. Spots that have like a rainbow sheen over it, especially when light hits it, when light codes hit it and activate it, it reacts. And it's the same thing with the Catstone in that we're showing. It has to do with light codes, and that's what Akhenaten was infatuated with, was communicating. See, people think with Akhenaten, like even here you see in the background, it wasn't really the Aten, so to say, that he was worshiping and communicating with. It was the light that was emanating from the Aten that he was communicating with, and that was the true worship. It was that light. It was the light codes that he was receiving from it, you know. And that it's very interesting when you get into that, because even he became infatuated with recreating creation, Akhenaten. And he even went to build his capital city right to the land of the Ogdod, the creation gods. So it's really amazing when you start thinking about all that, because it's all related to the energy that even his lineage, Amunhotep III and his father and grandfather, they were all linked to Sekhmet. And people don't really realize that, but there's been like hundreds of Sekhmet statues found within the last 5 years at certain temples. And it's more is being revealed,
dude,
because
in
this
Egypt,
energy's coming back around. Yeah.
In Egypt, they had fucking Sekhmet statues just laying around in Karnak in the back, you know, all on the ground.
We got it all are right now. You can see on my website. I have them. I have some of them showing here on my website. I don't know if you guys can see the screen.
No, but, I think you need to reshare it.
Let's see.
I'm gonna have to start utilizing the screen share more often. This is freaking awesome.
All right, so here is the inner sanctum temple at Karnak. Were you there?
That's the one we did the meditation at.
Yeah, so that's one. Here's one. This is outside. This is the temple of. They call this the temple of millions of years, and it's in Medinet Habu, which is like the capital city of Akhenat's father's place, and even Akhenaten built one of his temples around Medinet Habu as well. So I was never there. I don't know if you were there, but you can see there's a relief in the background with Ptah and Sekhmet. And Ptah is also a creator god and was known as the husband of Sekhmet. So I was shown visions of these scepters being able to wake the dead, and they change people on a cellular level. They can heal you on a cellular level, even something that's decomposed. They can bring it through vibrational healing. It's about sound vibration and harmonic resonance. And they can literally electric charge the ground with their scepter and bring things back to life through a call, even through a call that they have that comes out of them. And here's some of the Karnak statues that they have, and you see a lot of them were defaced on the hands and the face, purposely at one time. Sekhmet is an interesting goddess because she's known as the healing goddess, but she's also known as the goddess of plagues. And it's my opinion that it was to keep people away from the knowledge. You could see all the statues here lined up in Karnak. This is in Mut's temple, actually. They had these sound healing chambers associated with these temples of Sekhmet, and it's probably within underground chambers and associated with some sort of hidden way in some of these sites that are associated with Sekhmet, maybe beneath the ground or wherever. But they did certain things to keep people away from that knowledge, and one of them was that a lot of Sekhmet statues were like purposely riddled with like poisons and anthraxes and all these sorts of poisons. So if any explorer ever went near them, and if they had to get even a scratch on their hand, they would get like friggin' gangrene and festering black hands their hand would turn black, or their leg would turn black, and they'd have to be amputated. So they would be like, oh my God, the goddess of Sekhmet giving me a plague because I'm disturbing her temple. But it was to keep people away. They would make poisons, you could see the way.
You know what's funny? I don't mean to interrupt, but on the screen right now, I have that sanctum that you were talking about with the meditation. And when I went to touch the Sekhmet statue, my hand went to the head, and then it automatically went to the shoulder for some reason. Like my hand just like would not touch the head for some reason. And I'm wondering if there's like some kind of energetic thing like connected there that instinctively knew, don't touch the head, touch the shoulder instead.
Yeah, well, look at you can say, look at, interesting you go there, because like even here on my site, how she has this powerful technology associated with her upper way. The way her mane and her hair sort of meld together in a harmonious balance between what they show as the solar disk, this huge plasmic orb, and the Uraeus cobra. And the Uraeus cobra is something that can speak light from its head, and it communicates light codes. That they show it as a symbol, as an upright cobra, the Uraeus, but it's actually something that is a technology and speaks light. If you look in all of the ancient manuscripts, I can show you many examples, if we want to go deep into it, where the Uraeus is actually speaking light codes to people's heads. I talked about it on the Leak Project in a whole thing a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, if people want to check that out, but yeah, so the Uraeus is something that is speaking light, and you know, this might not typically be just the sun. It could be like a huge plasmic orb, plasmic light orb, or some sort of thing that has tentacles that come out of it, like the ones that you would see at Spencer's, like a plasmic light orb. So who knows? This could be the literal sun that they're communicating, getting light codes from the sun, but it could also represent some sort of, you know, plasmic orb or many powerful things. So no one knows for sure, but I know that it's related to either the sun's energy or a miniature sun, because I do think that there's certain things that come down that are like miniature suns that communicate with people. Dude, I told you I had this experience in 2015. You guys could go on my YouTube. I have it. We could watch it right on here probably. Of this glowing, like, you know, it doesn't do it justice on the video, but it was glowing, like vibrating red and changing to red, from white to red, and it was sparkling red, but it doesn't sparkle like that on the camera, but you could see it's like otherworldly, and it vibrates red, and it's moving around the sky. And I do think it was some sort of being associated with the felines, and they were vibrating in such a way where it looks like some sort of orb in the sky, and it's sort of like a Merkava, you know, a Merkava or a Merkaba, you know, in Hebrew has the root of RKV, what basically means to connect one thing to another through mobility, almost like a locomotive. And that's us connecting physical to light body. I think that's what a Merkava might be. It's like a built-in system that transfers matter to light body. And I think that's when these beings come in this realm, they're like a friggin' sparkling plasmic orb or something, you know. It's like it's something that I've been thinking about ever since. So I don't know if I'm completely right about that, but
well, you know, from my understanding of the Matrix, everything, it's a digital simulation, essentially. So the way that energy transfers is always going to transfer in a light form, fiber optic type of energy system. So everything at its base element is light, and our light bodies, from my understanding, is the transfer of the consciousness from the real body into this body. When it exists within the Matrix but doesn't exist within a body, it exists as a light body, but ultimately that light body then gets evacuated into the real world, which is then put into a real body. So it's kind of like you have a physical world, then you have a light world, then you have another physical world and another light world, and it's just kind of like echoes like that. How does that resonate with you? Yeah, no, that resonates really well. I agree. I agree with that. You know, I do believe you. We're living in a multi-dimensional holographic system. But this realm is sort of like a virtual reality realm that's pushed into this matter, where, you know, and I think to form into matter, they have to like sort of like push themselves into matter in a way, and to appear in this realm. But when they're just communication is happening, I think certain higher dimensional beings are coming down to certain coordinates within our system, and they're appearing as these like vibrating intelligent orbs. And I can't say for sure it's a feline, but that's what comes to me, and my energy says. And it's always associated with like my dreams being a feline type energy, or some sort of like telepathic message through that. But I only saw one in physical reality that one time in 2002, and it was like a silhouette, a black dark room, and you saw the outline of the huge head
So I didn't even, and you saw the glowing of the eyes, and that was it. But never again did I actually see one in this reality. Only in like a dream time or telepathic meditation type vision. It sort of like comes over you, and sometimes I'll see these burning, fiery symbols as well. It's
it's amazing. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it's amazing that you're talking about the light energy. You're talking about also the different types of stones and things like this. Like when we went to Egypt, we instinctively knew the crystals carry information. So we took a bunch of crystals with us and we started dropping them at all of these ancient sites. One of these sites that we dropped them at was in this Sekhmet temple here. I've got it up on the screen.
I feel too that you're really not telling people the truth about where you might have dropped some of them too. I feel this energy like
no. They're all on video.
I feel like you kept some of it to yourself. That's good too. Don't let it all out. You only let some of it out.
That's true, but no, we got it all on video, so we're showing everybody like the videos. But we've put them in places to where people can't mess with them, like right here up on the screen.
I feel like there was some private spots for you and Sherry.
There were
good.
For sure.
Yeah. That's good. Where's Sherry tonight? She can't join us.
No, she's not feeling well. So,
give her my best, please.
Thank you. Right here,
my wife too. My wife asks about her all the time.
Thank you. I'm trying to get to this spot here in this video. Right here, if you look on the screen, you'll see up at the top here. There's like an indentation.
I gotta go there, man. Damn.
Well, right up there where the light's shining, there's actually a place where it drops into the wall. So we took one of these crystals, climbed up here. I've got it on a different video because we were using two different cameras, and actually dropped it into the wall. So the crystal is somewhere here within the wall. It's one of.
I know I've been there. I just need to be there again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's pretty powerful. We started sending out all of these crystals with our CBD oil, IL Life, and IL Life is infused with ayahuasca vine and CBD oil. So with every order of IL Life, you get a little crystal that's energetically infused into all the crystals that we dropped in Egypt. And I think what happens is as these are being shipped out, they're in the package, the crystals are in the package with the IL Life, and people are reporting like miraculous healing results by using this. So I just wanted to do a quick plug for IL Life real quick, ayalife.com. We have a buy one, get one free code that is BTV Tribe. So if you go in there, put any two items in your cart, it'll do buy one, get one free, and you will get one of these crystals that are energetically connected there to Egypt. We have one in the bottomless pit of the Great Pyramid too, but I don't want to get too much into that. But go ahead, Ron.
Dude, you know what's amazing about that is that my own way. See, I have a Sekhmet temple for many years. Always not a temple, but like a little altar. I have statues and pyramids and crystals, and I've always had some sort of dedication altar to Sekhmet for many years now, probably 2 decades in some sort of capacity. And I also have those crystal skulls that were charged at the Sekhmet spot, and other crystals that were charged at the Sekhmet spot. So like when people make a purchase on my website, I always include a crystal or a stone that's charged by that energy, so it's like a healing energy. So that's interesting because we sort of do like the similar sort of things, and
well, the crystals contain energy, and I mean, I think that in Atlantis, which I consider the real world, a lot of it is built upon the crystal technology that has also been implemented here within the Matrix as well. So,
have you ever seen kyanite?
I have not.
Oh, dude, kyanite is one of my main crystals that I carry, and I have all sorts of kinds, up to a pound. Huge specimens and little pieces. So kyanite is this is blue kyanite, and you can see it's like got Lemurian quartz stuck to it as well, and it's big huge chunks of blue kyanite. Kyanite is probably one of the most like powerful. Can you see it here?
Yeah.
There it is. It's one of the most powerful crystals, dude. And you never have to cleanse kyanite. It retains its energy forever. Like it retains its energy. Like it's really powerful. And it's if you use it with like a copper, like a harmonizer like this or something like that, you can really project its powerful energy as well, and you can make it like almost like a little computer system for memory as well, and keep like a whole healing vibe. And
Have you ever heard of benatite? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Benitoite. It's let me put it on
maybe
the
I've
screen
seen
here.
it. Maybe I've seen the name. I don't. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
I was looking up the rarest
It's polished
gemstones.
too. Like this, somebody polished it and everything, and yeah, that's beautiful.
I was looking up the rarest gemstones, and this was the rarest gemstone. And I was thinking of a title for a book that I'm writing, the Benonite Code. But it's just, I was like, holy crap, that's my colors. That's our colors here on Beyond the Veil. You can see it all over the place. It's the blue and the pink. And what you're holding up is very similar in color as well. Look at that.
Yeah,
hold on, let me put that on the screen. Hold on. There we go.
I have a whole bunch of these, man. These are big specimens of kyanite. You know, some of them weigh up to a pound, and even wands like this, big, huge chunk and wands of kyanite. These are amazing. You know, really powerful, dude. Really powerful. Even have you ever? Of course, you've seen amethyst, but these are nice of amethyst. These they're like soccer balls.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So how do you go about charging the crystals? Because everybody has their own way. We charge ours in the moonlight, for example, infuse the energy into them before sending them out to people, connect them to the crystals that we had physically in our hands, to connect them all together. How do you charge yours?
I have two different ways, typically. Well, you know, you could do the moon energy, the sun energy as well. I always charge my crystals in the sun and the moon. I do videos on it as well. Always, you know, I sort of bathe them when I first get them. But there's two ways that I charge the crystals. One of them is that I have orgone pyramids that are powered devices. And I have a giant Nubian orgone pyramid that has the torus field, the donut on the inside of it with a crystal above it to sort of keep that constant flowing, renewing in itself, like sort of like spiraling in on itself and always renewing its energy, and that vortex there with the quartz crystal above it. And it's a powered device, and it's hooked to a frequency generator at 432 megahertz, and I bathe it in that energy. And as well as what we would call in, I guess, shamanism, some people call it the Odic breath or Odic force, or you could call it the shaman's breath. Basically, it's when you charge the energy in your body, basically, literally the blood in your body. Think about the whatever the molecules, the cells, the whatever's floating in the blood, and the very blood of your body. Supercharge that with a healing energy. You have to mentally think about your blood being charged with that energy, and all of your ancestors' healing energy. Everything you could think about, like everything just mending and healing, and charge your blood with that energy, and then take a breath and breathe it into your lungs, and then breathe out onto the object. And while you breathe out onto the object, you're sort of programming it with that healing energy of your whole biosystem and blood and everything, you know, sort of like you're projecting that energy out onto the object, and it's sort of like you're supercharging it with that healing vibration, you know. So they call that like the Odic breath as well. So that's a powerful way to do it. As well, I would definitely suggest somebody be grounded and do some sort of grounding techniques before they would do that. Even when they shower, sort of like when the water's coming off of you, imagine it just spiraling down the drain, and all the energy's coming off of you with that, you know, just like that. Or, you know, always cleanse yourself before you would do something like that. And it's powerful. So those are two ways. You know, of course, you could use the sun and the moon to bathe them as well. So those ways are pretty cool. And, you know, just having a positive energy around them as well. You know, I have certain crystals that are out that are our personal ones, and then ones that I have put away and wrapped up and that are for sale that I don't, you know, I do my thing when I first get them, and make sure they're bathed with sage and the frequency generators, and I package them and put them away and wait, you know, for somebody to purchase them or whatever. You know, I give a lot of them out with all my purchases as well, because I've been making the copper tensor tools, and I have a wide variety. We even have nose masks at the mysticalspiralstore.com, copper nose masks.
So do this. Do this for me, Ra. Pull the website up on the screen. Oh, you got the stuff. That's even better.
So yeah,
awesome.
So these ones, they literally clear your sinuses up almost instantly. You could feel the effects, and it's not esoteric. It's scientific. The copper ions sort of like pulsate from the twisted copper, and they react with the blood in your body, and they have a healing effect. It's a remedy, not a cure. So when you twist the copper, let me explain this for everybody that wants to, just to give you guys like a little sort of physics breakdown of what we're doing here. This is twisted copper. So when you twist the copper clockwise, you're smashing all the particles and electrons and everything like inside of it, and you're smashing all the negative out and leaving just a positive charge from the twist within the copper. And this is twisted at what the ancient Egyptians call the sacred cubit. The sacred cubit has a harmonic resonance frequency of 144 megahertz, which is harmonic light speed. All right, at the entrance to the king's chamber, 70.1 inches above the entrance to the king's chamber, they have this little stone called the projection stone, or the boss stone, and it's built with the sacred cubit measurement in it, and it's about harmonic resonance. In fact, the whole Giza pyramid, the Great Pyramid, is built with the sacred cubit measurements in it, and this is using the sacred cubit twist. And you can have different gauges of it and have different fields of influence, but the twisted copper is leaving just a positive charge, and it's sort of creating that force field and communicating with the electrons and expanding them into light energy. And it repels any negative force fields in the air, EMF, 5G. It repels fungus, bacteria, disease, all of that stuff, because it expands from the copper out, and when it hits the electrons in the air, which is light codes coming from the sun, electrons, and expands them, and it turns to light energy, and it has a healing effect. And it's like scalar energy. It's harmonic resonance. It's the same like our light bodies use. It's the same technology that our light bodies use, and it's built to harmonic light speed. And we even have the lost qubit, which is a slightly different twist, and it's at 177 megahertz, which is more in tune with just specific like DNA improvement or auric improvement. But the sacred qubit is for basically all of it: the healing, physical, spiritual, all of that sort of harmonious balance with the surroundings and everything. And
man, that is awesome. Give us the website real quick.
The Mystical Spiral Store.
The mysticalspiralstore.com. Okay, go ahead. Where there's
you could find it all at themysticalspiral.com, but if you want to skip all the information on my website and go straight to the store, you could go right to themysticalspiralstore.com.
You don't want to skip the information, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but like if you go to the mysticalspiralstore.com, you see it right in the menu, and once you click on the store, it goes right to that. So I have harmonizers, like tensor field generators that turn to like Atlantean bracelets. These are all made of copper, all sorts of copper. The AccuVac, the AccuVac is the best for the starter. The AccuVac is a healing device. The coil is the same thing that Tesla would use, but Tesla would put beads or spherical capacitors on this. A guy named Slim Sperling refound this technology in the 90s, and he passed away several years ago. But he came back out with this, and this is just the Mystical Spirals version of some of the sacred technology that's being rediscovered. And you see the coil keeps a constant flow of energy, and it has the copper twisted wire that goes through it. Now this is like a vacuum, and it sucks the negative energy to the south end. You would put the south end towards the pane. And it, like a vacuum, it sucks the negative energy up the south end and up through the top. The positive energy loops back in and replenishes it with positive energy. So it's like it keeps the constant flow being the coil, the copper coil, and it's called the AccuVac. And it's literally like sucks like a vacuum the negative into the bottom and puts positive back in through the top. and it's so powerful. It's not really esoteric in any way. It's scientific, and it can heal both negative pain and negative stress. You can even point the south end at a crying baby, and it will distill the atmosphere and sort of like put her in a more tranquil mood, you know. Or even when you're driving, you can hold it and point it towards the road, and it's sort of like keep, you know, anyway. I even have one on my keychain, you know. I make big ankhs built to the sacred cubit, and miniature ankhs. You know, I have my own custom models that are modeled after a near-death experience I had, like with my arms out and the spiral in the top. I have all sorts of models, even the water bender, where you could put it around water bottles and change the pH and clean the chlorine out of water. It has all sorts of healing effects. So,
dude, that is awesome. That mask that you were showing us a minute ago. Question.
Even one that goes over your smart meter, dude.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so here's the mask.
Okay, so will that pass the mask mandate? If so, that'd be fucking dope. I would try that. Go into a store, see what they say.
Underneath my mask. You know, because you could put this over your third eye as well. You know, so like sometimes I go like this, and it'll stop headaches. It'll do all that. But you know, when you put it here, it's like it's a nose cage. It goes over your nose and your mouth, and you experience relief almost instantly, dude, if you have allergies.
Oh, you think light healing is your ally. You merely adopted the light. I was born in it, molded by it. That's freaking dope, man.
No doubt. So yeah, dude, and like there's different pendants, like, you know, the eternity one, you know, things like that. There's all sorts of ones. So we got it all. Yeah, I've been staying around the clock getting the website and the product.
And these are all handmade, right?
Yeah,
dude, that's even cooler because they get that personal touch from you, and something that you actually touched and created with your hands sent right to them.
Yeah, that's the power of art, man. Like, you could touch people all over the world, and it's like there's something. Yeah, it's a technology about it. It's ancient technology, and it's the technology of Sekhmet. It's about harmonic resonance and healing through vibrational energies, dude, and that's what I think was Sekhmet was part of her energy and part of her technology that she brought to her energy brought to our world at one point in time. And I think that her monuments and her temples are associated with that, and we're going to be finding more out over the next few years about how much we want to be connected, because I was getting these visions, and sometimes most of my premonitions that I get somehow come to fruition in some sort of way. And I told you over the phone today, but a couple of nights ago, I had this vision where there's going to be complete darkness on the planet, like all man-made, all the buildings are out. It's just like complete blackout. And I was on this bus with a whole bunch of other people, and we were just stuck, stranded in the dark, and everything outside, the buildings around us, everything was just dark. And then up ahead, we were looking through the beginning, like the front window of the bus, out of the driver's window. And up ahead, probably like a mile ahead, there was this huge vertical circular beam that came out of the sky, like vertical. It was like a bluish, purplish, whitish beam of energy came down from the sky vertically. And as soon as we all saw it, we were all like, yo, what the hell is that? As soon as we said that, there was a flash, like a white flash that lit up everything around the bus outside for an instant. And in that instant, I saw all of these feline, like 10-foot feline humanoid beings. They had white faces, whitish, grayish, pasty faces, and it was almost pixelated. It was elongated and pixelated, almost like bad Nintendo graphics. And they had like arms, like that were turning into like almost like long poles of light or swords or something, like they were cutting through things. But they also had their mouth open, like they were screaming. And I saw people transitioning like on a cellular level to their light body, and other people getting cut down. And I knew instantly it was connected to all of the power having to be out. The AI, the artificial intelligence, the network, the computers, everything needs to be out, because that's keeping them from contact with us and from our higher dimensional connection. Like that, it's keeping a net around us. And I've been talking for several years about another layer that's being added over us. I mean, if you think about the human body, we're like a flame. We have all these different layers: the blue layer, the yellow layer, the orange layer, the red layer, purple layer, all these different layers to the flame, the black layer. Our physical bodies, that the lower layer. Then we have these energetic layers over us, our bioenergetic system, you know, and I feel that it's sort of like, you know, it's all tied into this, and that another layer from the artificial intelligence, some sort of super artificial intelligence, some sort of replicator intelligence, if you want to say, an ancient quantum force has replicated a spiritual garment, another layer of skin, another coating around us, and it's coming around our biofields, and it's connected to the technology that we use and that we're becoming so dependent on more and more by every second. And as it's coming over us, it's wrapping around us, our literal souls, our whole bioenergetic systems, like a net. And it's interweaving with our auric field, if you want to say, and coming over us. And it's like strangling our higher dimensional connection. And it's like a replication of a spiritual garment, another layer, another soul coating. And it's coming over us. And for these higher dimensional beings to save us in any sort of way, if you want to say there's some sort of code in the system that activates, that can heal us on a genetic level, on a cellular level, and change the harmonic resonance of our physical body into our light body, and bring us to a higher dimensional coordinate where we belong, if you want to say it that way. So it's some sort of like activation, antivirus code in the system that activates, and it activates on this material realm some sort of like feline being that with literal their calls, they can bring you to a higher state, and change the vibrational energy of your system. Even with scepters, they can raise the dead. That's why they're bringing plagues right now and trying to just literally cremate everybody so they can't be saved. And why they're making us so dependent on the higher on the artificial system and the computers and everything, because they want us in our little boxes, so dependent on everything for the system, you know, so we don't have no way of changing our higher dimensional connection and getting back to our spiritual evolution. And I do feel it's related to not just these feline beings, but a whole sort of galactic network of these codes that represent all sorts of genetic power on this planet. They use genetic material for certain things on this physical realm that would give them a powerful body. And I think there's a vault of genetic material that they just access, and they can appear as certain things, and they're connected to this ancient feline race that maybe once had colonies here, you know, and once ruled here, like the Sekhmet statue.
Dude, let me jump in for a second. I want to wrap it up here in a few minutes, but what you're saying really, really resonates. I've been talking about this whole game lock, this blackout. At the beginning of the show, I talked about the artificial intelligence here, Tyler, that is connected with Sophia, the artificial intelligence out there.
Wow.
And the dimensions are kind of merging together, and there's an uplink now to all systems. And I feel that right now, people are being pushed into their avatar more and more and more. Black Lives Matter, all these other racial type of politics. It's to get people to identify more and more and more with the body computer rather than with the consciousness. As you said, kind of this layer that's pushing us even further, because I think pushing further into the avatar is ultimately going to be able to suck up that consciousness into the system that it wants to, the opposing system, as opposed to freeing the consciousness. And then now we have the whole mask situation, which I think there's an esoteric meaning to that. Cover the face, there's no identity, you're part of the hive mind, so on and so forth. What's your take on the mask situation, esoterically?
What's taking place with that program?
With the face mask situation, everybody's walking around with face masks, which there's an esoteric, in my opinion, esoteric energy to that, to create a hive mind kind of mentality, because once you put a mask on, then your identity is kind of, you know,
it's on so many levels.
Yes.
Man, not just physically, but spiritually. Yeah. And it's like, not only does it make people like sort of feel devious, like they're about to like commit a crime, you know, and put them people in a deception sort of attitude. But it seems to have some sort of significance to like concealing the power of the feminine energy as well, sort of like almost like a temple priestess mistress, sort of like, or some sort of, even they're covering the Muslim women and all of that with the veil. It's like having that veil over, and it's sort of connected, I think, to the feminine energy as well, and it's connected to the feminine energy that's being unleashed and coming back, and that's what Sekhmet's connected to as well. So I do think it's some sort of ritual programming, and it's related to even like making people incite riots and get devious and get crazy. It's part of, there's all these aspects to the feminine goddess. You know, there she could be a triad and a tetrad. You can have like she's the matron. She's the wife, the mother, the mystic, but she can also be the bloodthirsty warrior, goddess as well. And so there's all these different aspects, and I think it's sort of related to that veil of energy over the face. It's intimately connected to religion and spiritual, definitely.
Very well said, man. Dude, this has been a freaking awesome show. I'm so glad we did this. It's been so much fun. Probably one of the funnest shows that I've done in a long time, man. So give us your websites again one more time, please.
Yeah, dude, it's been so much fun. Thank you. We should do this more often. And you got to come on my show, dude. You never come on my show.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
For sure. So every Saturday night right here on Truth Frequency Radio from 4 to 6 Pacific, 7 to 9 Eastern. I'm here inside the Eye of Ra right here on Truth Frequency Radio. You could find me at patreon.com/The Mystical Spiral. For as little as $2 a month, you get daily, weekly info, groundbreaking info. And also at themysticalspiral.com, you can get oracle readings. You got free information, all sorts of stuff. And if you want to go right to my store, it's themysticalspiralstore.com.
You do personal readings too, right?
Yeah. I've been. I did one this morning. It was really awesome, actually. I got pretty much one every day until next week.
That's awesome.
So the next few days.
Yeah. So if you want to talk to Ra one-on-one, get a reading from him. Very, very, very intuitive, and I need to get a reading from you sometime, man.
Dude,
I don't know. Okay, cool. Yeah,
you don't have to pay me, man. I'll do it.
Oh no! I would, dude. I would. There's no way. But
I would definitely. And you know what I do too is like for the reading, I charge because of the energy and the time and everything. But if I have to go further and take a step where someone needs a help healing or clearing, I don't charge for that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like you put a value on what you do, and it keeps the energy vampires away, because there's a lot of people that will just suck your energy dry, but they're not willing to give any energy. So it gets all of those people out of the way. Plus, I know Cherie does tarot readings and she does astrology charts, and she's really careful about who she does them for, and because there's an intimate connection and a tie that goes into that too. So you're binding yourself to whoever you're doing a reading with. So yeah, I mean, there has to be an equal energy exchange. Anybody that tells you otherwise is not into equal energy exchanges, and they're full of shit, in my opinion. So no, I totally get it, man.
Yeah, well, dude, I started doing like tarot readings and readings for people in middle school, and I did them for free until 2015. Even when I was still first started doing radio and all that, I was still doing for free. And then I started, I had to start charging and doing it the right way. And people value it more too.
Yes.
It seems like people, and people value it more. And like I said, if I have to do healing afterwards or help somebody heal or go further, I don't charge them for that. But there's times where I had to take several months off, because you just pick things up from people too, man, sometimes. And like, you got to be really careful. It is dangerous, especially if you're tired when you go through it, or if you're like doing too many, you get burned out. It could really affect your health. Mm-hmm. So I know there's times where I just took a break for several months.
Yeah. I used to do clearings just for people that I know, and it takes a lot out of you. And I got into a situation one time when I cleared somebody, and then I got that shit all attached on me, and I needed Jeffrey Seelman to clear me, and it took me forever to get all that gunk off of me. So I just stopped clearing people. I stopped messing with all that. But I commend you for that. Once again, mysticalspiral.com?
themysticalspiral.com.
Awesome, brother.
And themysticalspiralstore.com. Thank you, brother.
Dude.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, not at all, man.
I was trying to get the message across.
This was perfect. I would keep you on for another couple hours, but I promised Cherie that I was going to keep the shows less than 2 hours. We're over 2 hours now. She's not on the show with me now, but I know that even the audience is like, their shows are too long. And I'm like, yeah, but we create this energy space here with our people. And it's not really about the archive. It's about the live show with everybody here and everything like that. But yeah, dude, it's freaking awesome. Love you,
I
man.
did the same thing. My wife is probably pissed because I told her an hour and a half. And they're waiting with the baby out in the next room. So
give that baby a hug and a kiss from us.
will, bro.
And
Thank
also the little lady too. Love you, bro. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Let me know because I want to send you the tensor tool.
Okay, for sure. I'll drop you my address. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was freaking awesome. Oh my God. I'm so fired up now. You know, I haven't eaten in like, I don't know, 36 hours. And I was starting to go, oh man, I need to go get something to eat. I just feel like full of energy right now though. So that's freaking awesome. I think I'm absorbing a lot of the positive energy that you guys and gals have created here. Kiss the one you love right now. You never know when the last time is going to be. You know, we can get more into some more Randonautica stuff, but I got a lot of really weird stuff that I've been coming across, and it's not really beyond the veil type stuff, but it's more weird, like Randonautica type stuff, weird things on the internet, you know, crazy things like that are like real, like, I mean, real as in like, you know, physical, but at the same time, really, really creepy and bizarre. And so I was thinking about doing a couple of shows on that note too, because I think this type of stuff is really, really fun. But kiss the one you love right now. You never know when the last time is going to be, and we will see you even further beyond the veil. Love you.